now.
Awesome.
We are recording.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks very much again, Peter, for organising that. Because I do not have the technical capacity or patience to.
I'm sure you have the capacity, you just don't want to fill it.
That's probably more the answer, yeah. So I'm glad we could do this. It's a bit short notice, even though it's been a while. But I am excited that we can play again. Depending on what happens here, it could go one of many ways. But yeah, do you want to do a quick recap so everyone can see if we can remember?
Yeah, sure. We went into the goblin fortress, this cave, this old dwarven mine, I believe it was, that was repurposed into this goblin hold. We went down this huge tunnel thing. We had some cool encounters with some mine carts, I remember. That was fun. Killed a bunch of goblins. Eventually we went down. There's the big fat lady goblin who was mad at us because we killed her brother, I believe. Queen Squabble. We killed her. Got very close to dying. Big boss mama. I can't remember. Did we take any prisoners?
I think
we tried.
There was Tig, but he met an unfortunate end.
Oh yeah, Tig went splat into the wall off the minecart or something. Or did the minecart explode? I can't remember now.
It just kind of, you guys jumped off and it kept going, and he didn't manage to get out in time and squished.
Oh, poor Tig.
It was fun though. Definitely worth it. And then we were looking around and we found a portal, and we think it might be like related to Lee in some way or something like that. I can't remember. But
it
both
didn't.
Karthos and I know that.
Yeah, it said portal on it or something.
Yeah.
I think there's again, I should have drawn this out, but it's basically this like square, like rounded edge square shape of precious metal bricks, basically. It's about 5 foot by 5 foot, and it's kind of sitting at a 45-degree angle just at the end of this tunnel.
Is it basically like a frame, or is it like into the stone?
A frame is a word that I came up with yesterday to describe it as a good way of describing it. Yeah.
So
we assumed that this was the way in between, like, because somebody said that we were told that all the dwarven tunnels were connected, and I think we assumed that this might be the way they were connected, that it wasn't actually they were like physically linked, that there might have been portals or something. I think that was what we were saying. That's
the conclusion that you came to. Yeah. It's the thing itself is like, it's like built into the rock and built into and around it, so it's not movable. Basically, it's there for a purpose. The bricks themselves are covered in kind of intricate dwarven runes, and they amongst them, Karthos recognized the ancient dwarven word for portal. So yeah, that's where you are now. It's kind of a mystery, but it's, in a way, it's Errol has been, I'd imagine, or he knows of various folk at the university that would have been pondering this problem for years about how they did this, how dwarves were able to, in this region, were able to do be so cover so much ground so effectively, and yeah, he's finally gotten something that's kind of groundbreaking, potentially, but obviously it seems inactive as a portal. I mean, you can step into the frame, and you just, as if you're stepping onto some rock. There's nothing really there inside the frame at the minute. It seems like it's just kind of inactive, you might say.
Yeah, and I like to think that despite, like, Errol's like not looking good. He has not much health at the moment. But despite that, as soon as he like sees this, portal, he immediately just like he sees some energy get back into him, and he like pulls out his sketchbook and he's starting to like write down all the details he can and stuff, and be as intricate as possible so that he has something to bring back to the university or back to civilization essentially.
Nice.
We came here to find out what those goblins were doing scouting. I guess they were looking for us.
So we never really had time for you to properly investigate the area, this lower chamber. I'll let you do that now. There's basically there's a crude bed made up. The other goblins seem to have been sleeping up in the higher levels, but this seems to be a space that's been allocated to the queen. There are crates and boxes and things forming a desk of sorts. So there's various things to look at.
Did we ever figure out what those items were for that they were collecting?
No, we didn't know. They just had a list.
So, I mean, I think that was the reason they were kind of like here in the first place, right?
Yeah.
They weren't really necessarily looking for us at the beginning.
No, they weren't at the beginning. I think I would. I mean, does the desk have papers on it?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I would literally bundle up all the papers and literally just go and take them across to Errol and just dump them on the floor. And then I would go and start rifling through other stuff that isn't papers.
And I would look up from my sketchbook and then motion to Karthos to come look at the papers that Soren just dumped in front of me.
I think I would decide and start eyeing through them.
Okay. Well, first of all, Soren, give me an investigation check for just looking in amongst other stuff and looking around it.
Oh God.
I mean, you gather most of the papers. A lot of the papers that you dump with the others are just kind of scraps and useless bits, but you dump them all over anyway. You don't have much luck. It's just a bit of a mess, and it frustrates you maybe, and you just kind of give up. You don't want to kind of lose the will to search for anything, lose any hope that there's anything interesting.
I'm just finding odds and sods, bits of food,
yeah,
that sort of thing.
Like kind of broken, leather, old buckles and things from armor, and damaged sword hilts, and just discarded stuff that goblins keep.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, in that case, Soren is just as you say, he's just frustrated, and he's just gonna basically stand in the big open area and try and keep watch above, just in case anything's coming down.
Okay. So you're gonna step out maybe into the open area.
Yeah, and I think he just sort of sits there with his back to the wall and just sort of cross legs, that kind of stuff.
Cool. Very nice. So as Soren's kind of looking up there, he's trying not to look over in the corner where Tig and the broken cart remains, but the Tig did point out something interesting as well about one of the upper portions of the mine. He seemed to be scared of a particular chamber up there. I think he even mentioned it was haunted. So as you're kind of looking up, your eyes often dart over to that kind of that upper northwestern corner of that first level. But otherwise, it seems quiet. There's water dripping. Obviously, there's a waterfall actually off to your north that's continuing to pour down, and elsewhere that kind of echoes around. And this fires of the torches up further up. They crackle and spark every so often. But though you managed to find some modicum of peace in the dark mine. As the other guys are going through some paperwork, you find some interesting things. You find one of them which is interesting, which seems to for some reason it doesn't strike you as being a goblin thing, but it's basically a sheet of white paper, a single sheet, and it's covered in like very neat rows of thumbprints. And there's no other descriptor on the page other than the thumbprints. It's just lines and lines and lines of thumbprints. So that's one interesting thing. There is a letter. Do you guys speak Goblin, or can you read Goblin?
No. I cannot.
Okay. I don't remember if it was something you guys could do.
No, we used Soren's magic to speak to Tig Tig.
That's right.
Yeah, I have some magic, but I don't have it now.
Did you have comprehend languages? Did you not cast it?
I think I have it.
I'm sure you cast comprehend languages further up in the mine when Soren was trying to speak, like search for Lee.
Yeah, I do have. Like, I don't think I haven't. Yeah, I could properly ritual cast it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think you already did within the last 10 minutes in game. Further, I'm sure you did, because then you guys waited for like 10 minutes, and I remember Errol took watch. Okay, let's just say you can comprehend the language. It's basically a note. It looks like it's been written by the queen, perhaps, for kind of distribution to the other goblins. But it talks about the chamber. It says basically something like, "Avoid the cavern on the left. It's haunted. Be careful, but they cannot leave." And then it's kind of just like, it's as if she kind of wasn't sure what to write next, and she just kind of left it, and it never got finished, and distribute it to the other goblins, something like that. Is that kind of like a memo that she was writing, like that. You also, there's various papers. Some of them are kind of more orderly, as if they're more important to the queen. That she's kind of kept them neat and tidy. But basically, the most interesting one that you find is a letter that's basically, again, similar to the one you saw before, but it's basically ordering the queen, or it's very carefully worded so that it doesn't seem like it is an order, but it's basically asking the queen if they can gather a list of these items from Eagle's Rest. And it's a similar list of items that you've seen before: belts, boots, clothes, hats, buckles, wine cups, things like that. And kind of additional to the last letter that you saw, it says that in exchange for doing this, the queen and her brother, they are promised the spoils of Gangalak. And it says that the Eagle's Rest residents remain ignorant of what lies beneath them. So, and it's signed by a name that you've not come across before. I'll just give you that name as well. I'll type all this up probably in better notes for you as well, so you don't have to remember it all. But that's the name. Lemmy Yazinski is the name at the bottom that's signing that letter. And you see that name Lemmy prop up every so often. You see it kind of as like the initials LY at the bottom of a letter or something like that. So you see it propping up as if this person, Lemmy, has been in touch with these goblins on various occasions. There's various mentions of the mines themselves and how productive some of the particular veins are deeper into the mines. They've got names like they look like the dwarven names for like what the dwarves would have called the particular vein. So they've got things like Clinkstone Alpha and like Vein 17 and things like that, like names, identifiers for the different veins of minerals within the mine that can be tapped for resources. So it seems like there's lists of these areas of the mine and how productive they are, and how the goblins are faring in terms of. So it seems like the goblins are utilizing the mine for these resources and trying to extract it, and they're then transporting the goods northwards. Is all that the kind of reports say. Seemingly on foot. It does mention once that they're trying to get the portal to work so that they don't have to transport everything by foot. But again, this Lemmy name springs up again. It's been clearly assisting with this logistics of this process, providing kind of carts and pack animals and guidance and things for transporting these goods. Seemingly the goblins are mining, which is strange. You maybe wouldn't have thought that goblins would be particularly suited to mining, but the materials are headed northwards. And there's one other nugget of information. It stands out as more like a page that's been ripped from a book rather than something that's been written. Like this looks like a proper print. And it's actually remnants of an old fairy tale, like a children's story. And it speaks of, it goes through this. It's not the full story, but you get the idea that there's this little girl and she's gotten lost kind of on the coast, and she stumbled upon a goblin burial ground kind of area, and it's full of treasures and gold, and she a typical fairy tale style finds the treasure, outsmarts the goblins, and escapes. But the burial ground is known as Gangalak, and again, it's that word that came up in that other letter. So there's kind of link there, and you see that in the fairy tale, it's kind of encircled around. So some interesting things there. Lots to digest, I'm sure. And yeah, I think that was everything from the papers themselves.
It's quite an interesting read. I guess Carter's Torso the Gavin. Sorry. Have you heard of Gangalak before?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Just the group.
Would I have heard of Gangalak?
I'd say probably not. I'd say actually definitely not. Perhaps Errol or would have heard of it, but it's one of those, folk tales are so localized.
Yeah, I don't think Errol would have even heard of it, since it seems to be kind of more of maybe something important to goblins, and then one village that goblins interacted with,
Yeah.
I think Soren would just say it sounds goblin.
Because it appears to be they were promised spoils from it. And if I'm right, it seems that they think Gangalak rests until equals rest.
Ooh, is this a treasure hunt?
I'm afraid, even if it were, I'm not sure I have time for treasure. Not at the moment, anyhow.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe if we got this portal to work, we could get to where we need to go quicker.
I mean, feel free. We all need to rest. Although we need to get back to Eagle's Rest now, right? It'll be morning.
Probably.
Yeah, you are probably by the time you get back there, you're going to be close to dawn. You've not slept tonight, so you you travel all the way back up from your journey down south. You arrived in Eagle's Rest in the evening time, and then you headed straight back out to search for the goblins, and one thing led to another. Now you're at the bottom of a mine with all the goblins dead.
Right.
Oh,
And it's by the time you get back, it's a few hours to get back, so you'll be pushing dawn by the time you get back.
this was supposed to be an evening jaunt, and we do have an appointment
Hmm.
with Master Wickham, I believe.
That's true.
So there's also the question of the tunnel. Oh, we give a white burst. The company seems to think it's haunted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by that too, but Owl looks pretty beat up, dude.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're not
As I
fine.
say that, I like cough up some blood.
I. Well, I guess it just depends on what we're gonna do. Yeah. If it should, like we should the double couch. I'll try to get some rest if you can. I can even a short one. But should we do it down here, up outside the mine, or
You should try to do what? Sorry, Kathos.
take a rest?
Yeah, I mean, we can take an hour. I'm a little bit loath to waste more time. We can sleep on the boat. Maybe.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so you'll be if you take a short rest now. That sounds fine. You know from experience that the coastal route that Wiccan will take and the vessel that he'll likely use will not leave much room for sleeping or resting. You kind of it's a very small boat that you'll need to be kind of awake for. But when you get onto a ship that hopefully you'll find that goes south, then you'd obviously imagine you could sleep then. By that time, you're going to be well into the morning, but that's absolutely fine. I mean, you might. I don't know. I should have checked about exhaustion rules and
You
what
take a
triggers
level
exhaustion.
of exhaustion. Yeah, if you don't sleep for a night, you take a level of exhaustion.
Yeah. Does that kick in the morning, like when you would have woken up, kind of?
I think
thing?
it's like a 24 hours thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think by the time you get back to Eagle's Rest, you'll be exhausted, especially after all that walking. So, I mean, you're not planning on doing much other than traveling. So it's up to you.
Yeah, but you'll have been flicking through the DMG and the monster manual, and you'd have found all the really cool aquatic monsters. You'll have found your undead Loch Ness monster and your giant octopus.
Yep.
And the moment we get in the water, we're gonna get jumped from 17 angles, and we're gonna have 5 hit points and be exhausted.
That's right. That's the risk you've got to take. Yep.
Unfortunately, I think Soren's gonna be stubborn at this juncture.
Okay. So, I mean, if you want to take a rest down here, I'll say that I'll give the other guys a chance to poke around amongst the stuff that's there while you're like as part of your rest, just relaxing. If you want.
Yeah, I think we should take the rest down here.
Yeah.
There's the portal as well. I mean, if you want to, I know you rolled for some stuff last week on the portal, but I mean, you can spend some more time with it if you want to try and decipher any more.
Errol's definitely going to be fixated on the portal.
Okay. So go ahead and give me investigation if you're going to search for stuff, and give me. Well, just let me know if you're going to be searching. No. Oh, what? Oh, that's a D8.
Just getting some hit points back.
Oh, that's your hit points. Okay, I was going to say, really not good at investigating today.
Like if I'm investigating, it's.
I'm going to use neurotic synergy with Karthos to investigate the portal.
Okay. I've been thinking about that. Nice. Every time that comes up, the little bond that you guys have got, it annoys me because it's so like jarring in 5e to have something like that. Like now that I know more about 5e, I would have given you something different. But it's fine. It's fine for now. I don't have time to sort it. You know what I mean? Like it should be advantage rather than +1 or something. You know, like there's a neater way of doing it.
Yeah, but a lot of there's incremental numbers, but
yeah. But we'll sort that for another day. Okay, first of all, your investigations check was very good. You find some more stuff. First of all, underneath the bed, you have to kind of like flip the bed to find it. But you can see the bed's kind of sitting on something, or like I'll say maybe one of the boxes that's holding up a corner of the bed looks different to the others. And you pull out a small box. It looks like a kind of dwarven made like lockbox kind of thing, made of like hard wood. You can see that the lock on the front has been tampered with. Someone's tried to open it, but they've been unsuccessful. So a small box about a foot by half a foot by half a foot kind of thing. You also find on top of the desk, somehow Soren missed it, but it's as apt that Carthos managed to find it, but it's a bottle of whiskey. It's very, very dusty, so maybe that's why I missed it. But it's a bottle of whiskey. It's like this dark, like amber liquid. And as you pick it up, you see something move, and you think it's maybe something like on the other side of the glass or something like that. But as you take a closer look at it, you see that there's actually a creature inside the bottle, inside the liquid. It looks like a small scorpion. And yeah, and it's as you kind of look at it, you kind of take a double take, and it's actually just swimming around in the whiskey quite happily.
Does it look alive?
Yeah. And it's completely sealed as well. The bottle, it's like it's never been opened. So it's got like a wax seal around the top.
I think Soren's definitely intrigued by this. Like, is this a kind of creature that Soren would recognize? Like, sorry, does Soren know anything about creatures that can survive in whiskey?
Give me a nature check.
Also, would I know any? Like, would Soren have had whiskey? Like, is whiskey a thing that elves would drink, or would Soren be like well confused?
I don't know. You tell me. I mean, what would your people drink? I mean, you live close enough to the dwarves, or lived close enough to the dwarves that maybe you would have run into it.
I think it's probably like, I think it's one of them weird things. Like in Elvish society, I think whiskey is probably like really super posh. Like Soren's tried it like once, or like in Dwarvish society it would be normal. It's like is it like Pizza Hut in is it Korea or Japan is like super duper posh? I think it's like that. Like whiskey is like, yeah, princes drink whiskey. Normal elves don't drink whiskey, but like all dwarves drink whiskey.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, I like that.
I got an 18, by the way.
For your nature, yeah. No, I mean, I think I don't know if there's even many scorpions on the Green Coast at all. But it's like it's crab-like, like a crustacean. Some of that is kind of longer, but this particular shape of creature, and certainly one that can live under, like submerged in the liquid for who knows how long, seems completely alien to you.
Can I get any grasp on the age of the bottle? Is there like a label on it or anything? Or...
There is a label, yeah. It's in Dwarven.
I don't speak Dwarven.
Right, you need to get one of the guys to translate.
Does anybody speak Dwarven? I can't remember.
I'm sure Errol must speak Dwarven.
Yeah, I think Errol does.
Got this, yeah. Okay. I mean, it's got a date on it. I haven't got the calendar down to a T, but it's This is like pre-suppression back in the Dwarven Society's like heyday, aged whiskey, so hundreds of years old.
God, dude.
So I mean, Soren, knowing how like how like rare whiskey was in your society, knowing how like prized it was, this sort of aged bottle you would think would be worth very much to, certainly in your society, to elves. But yeah, very old. It's got like a region name on it, and it's a region, let's say, actually it's it says something like Silver Falls Distillery or something. Silver Falls is a region to the south. It's the kind of largest water, not the word I'm looking for, like largest lake, inland lake on the coast. And there are dwarvish settlements kind of in and around it.
Does it say anything about a scorpion?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say anything about scorpion.
Because the scorpion's obviously been sealed in there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's either it's accidentally in there and somehow still alive, or it's so normal that scorpion's in there that they didn't even mention it on the label.
You could try talking with it. Don't you speak with animal?
I can't do so. I could do it as a ritual, I suppose. I don't think it would be able to hear me. I don't know if Karthos says that. Like, is Karthos saying this to Soren? Because if he is, then Soren would have a go, I think.
I've just realized I've put another animal.
Oh my god, dude. You have to make, like, when he speaks, he has to, like, slur all of his words and be like, yo, man, it's fucking lit, bro. Shit, dude, I'm so
yeah, you
drunk,
need different dialects for
years, bro.
You need different dialects for different animals, Craig.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, this is definitely like an ancient animal. Like, it needs to have, like, you know, maybe like a Lovecraftian vocabulary.
Can you imagine how insane that thing would be?
Good morrow to thou, fair elf.
Just like a really drunk Shakespeare sounding scorpion is what we need.
Did you also say there was a strong box or something?
Yep, there's like a lock box with a lock on the front, made of wood. It seems to be locked.
I am gonna sit down and start casting Speak with Animals. Mostly because Karthos teased me about it. And now I feel the need to prove myself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna. I guess I'm gonna try to open the.
Yeah, I think that is it. Just disadvantage if you don't have. I take it you don't have thieves' tools, or some other means of opening it.
I don't think I have thieves' tools. No.
I just flipped to the right page. That's amazing. Yeah, I think it's at disadvantage.
Wait, disadvantage if I don't have thieves' tools. So.
Yeah. Just because you're using something that's like not suited for the task.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have proficiency in thieves' tools either. So is it just like a disadvantage roll?
Oh, sorry, on Dex. Yeah, Dex check.
Okay. Dex. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Ooh, natural 20.
Nice. And yeah, very good. 17. Yeah, I'll say that's enough. The queen wasn't great at picking locks, but she was reluctant to let anyone else try in case they stole what was inside. So, how do you open it? What do you use?
I was imagining just like a dagger, just try to jam it and focus the lock open.
Yeah, I mean, you're maybe quite surprised that it works, but it does. It pops open. Maybe because it seems very old. It flips open. There's like a bit of dust from like the hinges and things as the rust kind of flakes off. But you open it and there's like cylindrical segments inset into the inside of the box, 4 spaces. In one of them there's a potion, and in another there's a rolled up scroll, and the next 2 are empty. But it looks like if you had potions, it would be a safe place to keep them without them getting damaged as well. It's a nice box with kind of like velvety kind of interior, like a red velvet.
Okay. Can I see what's in the scroll?
In the scroll, yeah, you open it up. It's a magical scroll with a spell in it. So I don't know if you would know what. Probably would know what it is. University trained, magic. If you've got proficiency in Arcana, I'll say that you know that it is a spell scroll. And in fact, I'll just tell you what it is. It's a scroll of second level spell. It's called Warding Bond.
Warding Bond.
Yeah. You can look it up and see what it does, and I'll send you some info on it there as well. But second level spell, I don't know. Again, I don't know the rules on casting scrolls, but you all know magic of one form or another. But I don't imagine you'd have too much trouble using that scroll.
Don't think you can cast something unless it's on your spell list.
Right. Okay. That's fine. If you can't use it, then you can't use it. Yep. Yeah, second level abjuration magic. So I don't know. It probably doesn't sound like it's a warlocky type thing or a cleric thing. But that's that. This you've got it. The potion. If you want to take a look at that. Give me 1 second.
Oh, it's a spirit spell, so I guess I'll hand with the sword, and once he's done casting his spell.
Yeah. Okay.
The potion.
The potion. Yeah. It is a potion. Actually, would you know what it is, because it doesn't say on it? So inside the potion, it's kind of got like a red liquid inside, and then as you watch the redness of the liquid kind of shrinks down into a tiny little bead in the middle, and it just kind of swirls around there a little bit, and then after a few seconds, it expands out again to fill up the liquid with red again. And then continues to do that over and over. I think you would need to give me an Arcana check, or just kind of spend some time attuning to it, I guess, as it is maybe a magic item. I don't know how these things work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you got some ideas.
Just looks like normal water to me, boys.
Hey guys, I think I found some raspberry juice. Well, I guess I could try tasting it, but I think I'll just hold on to it for a while. Write it on the mysterious potion.
Okay. Cool. Okay. That was all that you find in this stash of stuff, I believe. You find you do find a crate that's got, I think I mentioned this last session as well, there's like a few things in there that they have managed to seemingly collect. There's like a rope that's been tied in a loop that's looks like it could have been used as a belt. It's just a bit of like a frayed hemp rope, probably like 4 feet long or something. There's a straw hat that's like full of holes. There's like a moldy old boot. And a couple of things like that. There's really not a lot that they've managed to gather. But they seem to be, obviously the Queen's keeping it in her personal chambers as if it's quite important.
Didn't we have all the items? Didn't we collect them?
You've got a few, yeah, from town that you took from people.
Yeah. Huh. There's no like no slots in the portal to enter all of these items, I'm assuming.
No, that'd be too easy.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's around this point that Sorin kind of gives the whiskey bottle a bit of a shake and goes, "Hello!
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?"
Oh, God, you're a druid. Be more careful.
I'll say that it acknowledges that you that you're there. It kind of swims around and swims over to the edge of the bottle and looks at you, but it doesn't respond immediately.
Have you ever talked to a person before?
It shakes its head. Some bubbles come out its mouth.
Are you always in whiskey?
Yeah, it like looks around, and then it shakes its head. It shakes its stinger.
Yes.
You know, now I'm speaking to the scorpion. I'm not sure what I want to ask it. What do you think, Errol?
Ask him.
Like all the
what he knows.
worldly uses
Yeah.
of like this amazing spell that you've been chosen
I
to.
mean, he's like lived through like hundreds of years or something, so you know he knows a lot of shit. Like he's seen a lot of shit. Just being on this desk, he's seen all the goblins doing stuff. Like
That's a
maybe he
good
knows
point.
what the items are for.
Have you seen any of these things before? And he sort of waves the rope and raspberry juice.
He looks over them all, and nods his head. Yep. He doesn't say anything.
Do they have anything to do with that thing? And I point at the portal.
It thinks for a minute. Like it doesn't really know it, and then it kind of hesitantly shakes its head no.
Did a dwarf put you in here on purpose?
It nods yes, and he seems like excited about that.
A dwarf put him in there on purpose.
It's like it's his purpose. Yeah.
Is that good? Is it good to be in whiskey? You like it?
Like,
oh yeah.
It's like long, slow nods, and it does like a little flip and watches it again.
Okay, so the gear has nothing to do with the portal. What was there again? There was a rope with a knot tied in it. Raspberry juice.
Somehow.
Maybe ask him about the tunnel, the haunted tunnel.
Oh yeah. Do you know anything about a haunted tunnel upstairs?
With the scorpion, no. The question, Craig's asking so many
I don't think
questions
the
he thought
scorpion
he'd
will
never
know,
have
but
answers
it's worth
to.
a check.
Yeah. Who is this scorpion? What's he been through? Puts one of his claws to his chin and strokes it, and then he shakes his head no.
No. Doesn't know anything about the haunted tunnel, folks.
Ask him if he's meant to be like eaten while we drink the whiskey. Or
That is
how
a good
works.
question. Are you supposed to be eaten while we drink the whiskey?
Yeah, he shakes his head no.
Okay. Are you supposed to be kept as a souvenir of the whiskey? Yes. Are you supposed to be kept as a pet once we've drunk the whiskey? Yes.
Oh my god, I'm drinking this bad boy right now.
It's a souvenir from
new
drinking the
animal
whiskey.
that we can have talk whenever we want to annoy Craig.
It must be a dwarven tradition. That's what that's what I'm surmising.
Keep pet scorpions like everywhere they went, like we keep dogs.
Only ones that had drank this whiskey. Maybe it's like a goldfish. Like once you buy the goldfish from like the village fate, it dies within like 3 days.
Oh, I really hope.
Maybe this thing's been
I'm getting too
enchanted
attached.
to live in the whiskey bottle, but as soon as the whiskey bottle opens, it's like 600 years of life are going to come back.
Do you think he wants to die? Like that's why he's excited.
Someone please just end it.
Please, I've been in this bottle for 600 years.
I don't know. He
in this
seems
cave.
happy. Are you
He
all
does
right in
seem
there?
happy.
He nods.
All right.
He's all right.
He's all right.
Well,
Gives
as
you like a thumbs up with his claw.
much
Okay,
as I
so
like this bottle of
I'm just
whiskey,
going to
I think-
say, okay, so if we're going to keep you for a while, my name is Soren,
Ugh.
this is Arl, and this is Karthos. I know you'll probably forget all of that by the next time we speak, but it's polite to make introductions.
He does like a little bow with each of you with his little claw.
Oh my gosh. Soren, you're the only person I trust in this group to hold on to this bottle of whiskey.
I'm the only person I trust in this group to hold on to this bottle of whiskey too. So that's fortunate.
It's like a little squat bottle, quite wide.
Like, the thing is, Soren is treating this as like he's found a gemstone. He's like, I'm gonna get a ridiculous amount of gold for this, and I'm gonna like
You're
spend
gonna
it.
sell it?
I mean, that's what Soren's thinking.
What? Well, I'm glad
I
you
haven't
didn't
told
say
you
it
that,
out
dude.
loud because Errol would have freaking thrown fists.
Axe comes out.
Battle for the Scorpion. It's gonna be the final act.
This guy that I've just rolled on a random roll table about an hour ago is splitting the party apart.
What, you mean to say you didn't plan this whiskey bottle out really carefully and had a personality planned ready for the scorpion for when they can speak with animals?
Yeah.
You realise
See,
every time you
I did-
introduce an animal now, you need to create an NPC.
I know.
Sorry,
What if-
Craig.
what
I
if-
made your game more complicated.
What if Craig is doing some like really mind fucking like time travel stuff and this scorpion is actually Lee? Like it's Lee's ancestors. I don't know, like his
I'm gonna write
previous
that down.
Buddhist form or something.
Is your name Lee Kageyami?
I like things for a minute. No.
I think the skull's probably
wish I
worn
thought
off.
of
But
let's
what
get
if we
out of
just
this
like
cave.
drank the whiskey, the scorpion died, and now Lee's dead? Like,
like Tom's waiting in the wings to come in, and he died.
I mean, I'm sure Karthus and I can find out more about how this whiskey is made or something if we go back to the school or something.
Yeah.
Do some research on it to know whether or not the scorpion's life is at risk if we drink it.
Yeah. I think that'd be a cool adventure. That would be like you'd go to the school and the school would tell you like to go to this old pub that this old dwarf runs, and he'd know about it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Who cares about Soren's people but disappearing and dying off? Let's around there. They put the scorpions.
I mean, I was just doing it since I had time while I was waiting for you guys to fuck around and gain your HP, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. I think that's all the fun stuff you find. I think Errol, you were going to have a look at the portal again, and you rolled actually, I think, for it, and you got not a sucky roll. So, you know that just by sitting and looking at it and looking at the runes and comparing the runes to like a cipher or something that you've got, you can start to build up a picture of what it's beginning to say, and you do confirm that it was at least at one point a portal, and it does connect to other portals, plural, throughout the Green Coast, that were obviously dwarves ran them. You could you think that you could select a destination from a particular set of choices, but a lot of the operational runes, I'll say, are either faded or damaged in some way that you can't be sure without having it like you need to give it a good go to see if you could get the thing going again. I mean, you think it might be possible, but you'd have to spend some time looking at it. Mechanically, I was thinking of doing like a little skill challenge thing. With,
I have a question, Craig.
Okay.
Thorin's hella old, and like would have interacted with dwarves in his childhood.
Mm.
Does he know anything about this at all?
No, he doesn't actually, and it's perhaps interesting that he doesn't, because it's a kind of well kept secret of the dwarves that they're like this level of technology. Nobody knew that the dwarves were capable of it, and they certainly wouldn't have shared it with elves. Like, no offense, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to imagine it's just like no one knows about it, but there's like just weird things like, how did that dwarf go from that mine to like, did I just see you at this other mine,
Yeah.
a little while ago? And they're just like, yeah, I've
Yeah.
traveled here, but really they took a portal over there.
Yeah, that's it. Like, there's certainly theories, and Soren, you would have heard plenty of those. Like, I think you mentioned last session that the elves thought it was like a giant worm that had tunneled between all
Right.
the
Oh
mines.
yeah, I remember.
So things like that, like you've heard of that sort of thing existing beneath it, but I don't think such a like nature focused society would have that like your minds would have
No, I mean definitely
quickly gone
like
to a technological like solution.
I think Portal, like you could have eventually thought of Portal, but it wouldn't have been like we wouldn't have thought it would be mechanically. We would have thought there was some like
Yeah.
elvish wizard helping them out or something.
Yeah. No, this certainly seems like a scientific, mechanical, technological thing rather than pure magic or pure manipulation of magical energies.
Oh my god, I've just realized Lee has one half of a fucking magnet in his pack, that Sorin has the other half in it, and it orients towards Lee's.
Oh my god, so it does. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Is it moving, Soren?
I don't know. I don't think Sorin's realized.
Okay. Cool. I totally forgot about that. That's the sole purpose of that item, is to find the other half of it. So that's interesting that that's accidentally finding its purpose. Cool.
Well, Soren, I know you really want to go, but I think I might be able to like get this portal to start working. And if we can do that, then we can start, we can travel around a lot quicker than we are now.
I'm skeptical, but give it a shot, by all means. If you think it will help.
And then I just start saying like magical words at it and hoping that one of them will work.
Open.
Open sesame.
Okay. So we can have a talk about how you think this might actually work, how you might actually get it going, whether there is literal mechanical things to get it going, like starting an engine or something like that. But mechanically, game mechanically, we're just going to do. I'm going to get you to do 3 Arcana checks, basically.
Okay.
Do you have proficiency with Arcana?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll let you add the +1 because obviously Carthus will be looking over your shoulder and saying, "Don't do that and do this."
All right.
If you need me to hold anything or push or pull anything, I can do that.
And the other guys can contribute as well to how this actually looks, how you picture it looking as he begins to try and start this thing up. I mean, I've only really described the frame of the portal itself, but there may be other elements that I've not.
That is another question. Is there any sign of this thing having moved?
No, it's been
no,
here
like,
as old as like the door frames and you know, the pillars and things that hold up the roofs.
Ooh, that's a pretty good first roll.
Good start.
That is good. Oh my god.
Oh, he breaks it. Rip.
Oh, I just love to imagine it like explodes like like in Star Trek when a command console explodes and like the person just goes flying backwards. Ah, damn. A natural one. That's terrible. Oh, that's so bad.
Okay. So again, yeah, give me some thoughts about what this looks like. In fact, I'll describe what happens first, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So within the frame of the portal, there is, as you begin to turn it on, there's this much like a pane of glass, like a sheen kind of appears. It's like it's almost like a liquid sheet that covers the inside of the frame. Runes spark up and light up around the edge, but it's one of those where you're thinking like when you're trying to start an engine of some kind and you're thinking this is never going to start, and you begin to think this is like I'm way out of my depth. I'm never going to get this going, and then suddenly like it flicks on for a second, and you can see it. You can see the portal before you, but just for a second, and then it blinks back out again, and then it's off for a little while more, and eventually it comes back on again. But you can see that it's like glitchy, like it's flickering and kind of just coming like on and off really fast, and there's like shards like missing through it and things like that. So it seems to be on, but not exactly fully. It looks glitchy. You maybe I would probably say that you've based on those rolls that Aaron would know that he has not done it properly, but it seems like it might work. So what I'll say as well is that there are different destinations that this particular portal was linked to, and you would have no control over which one is linked if you were to try and activate it and go through it. So it would be a roll of the die, quite literally. But it seems like it would work. You maybe would need to have a think about the repercussions of using it if something went wrong.
You're too kind. With a natural one, I would have like made it spawn an owl bear or something.
It was a natural 1 out of 3 rolls.
Yeah, I mean, step through it and see what happens.
I mean, step through and see what happens. See who's kind after that. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna just. But
yeah, what's it look like? I mean, how do you get that? How do you get that going? Is there any thoughts?
It's hard to like think about it because like it's all stone around it, and I think it would be pretty goofy if I just like opened up a hatch that was made out of stone and there were wires and shit in there.
Yeah, hard wiring it. Yeah.
I mean, I think definitely the first thing I probably did was I probably like removed all the dust that was like all the kind of rocks and stuff that were kind of built up in the etchings and things like that. Like I just kind of like detailed it a little bit to make it more clear and stuff. And then, man, I think possibly like I don't know. It's like totally alien technology. I don't know. I
That's the
think
fun.
Errol would just kind of like take his best practices that he learned in school and just kind of like try to apply them here in the best way he possibly can.
Yeah.
Um,
Just like
but
racking his brains for something. And obviously you're completely exhausted as well. It's way into the night after a long journey and lots of fights. So you're maybe not at your best to do this. But
yeah, definitely. And I think, he probably took like a wet rag and just like really wiped it down and cleaned it up, because that's really all he could do. And then that's kind of like what, it at least gave him this weird glitchy screen after he maybe studied the runes around it a little bit more and
yeah,
found like the power button,
yeah, cool. I like that. Anyone else got any ideas as well?
Is it Harold? Does it work? Did you do it?
Well, I mean, it kind of works. I really just don't know if we can just like I just don't know where it'll lead to. I think it might just lead anywhere. I really just don't know how to control its position, if that makes sense. The other end of the worm, as you would call it.
Hmm.
I don't know where it leads to. I don't know if the risk is worth taking.
Well, ordinarily, I would say let's wait until tomorrow and try again. However, in the circumstances,
What if, wait, hear me out. What if we just stuck the scorpion through, had it look around, and then we pull it back in and we ask it what it saw?
that
This is
Never
what
mind,
Tig
never
sounds
this is
like
mind.
this
that
is
I
what
sounds
don't
like
Tig
want
a
to
Tig
risk.
surefire
this is-
way to get us
This
all
is what
killed.
Tig Tig would have wanted.
this is what Tig Tig would have been perfect for.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant thinking, but I still think this is a good way to get us all killed.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't want to risk the whiskey anyway.
I was always told not to fiddle with magic beyond what I understand. And, well, that seems like this.
All I've ever done is fiddle with magic beyond what I understand.
Yeah, and
And
Torin looks at Aryl's eyes, and then at Karthos's eyes, and then back at Aryl's eyes, and he says,
Yeah.
"That's gone really swimmingly. You keep doing that."
I do want to chuck a coin in there just to see what it does, though, before we go. And with that, Errol will like flip, a talon or whatever the lowest form of currency is. I can't remember what we decided.
Yeah, I think it's a copper jot.
Yep, into it
Copper coin.
just to kind of see what that looks like.
Cool. Okay. Roll me a d10, please. Let's see where it ends up. Okay. It actually. Wait a minute. Yeah. It actually, you throw it in, and it actually flies straight back out at you and hits you on the forehead.
Ow. What the hell?
Well, that didn't go as far as I hoped.
It's like the momentum. It's like the momentum was conserved and just as if it was like flipped and came straight back out.
I throw a rock at it and then I duck.
Okay. Roll another d10. Yeah, I mean, it flies in, and the same thing happens. It just tumbles back out and lands where you were standing. That one would have hurt as well.
I think it's just broken, guys. I don't.
It would appear that way. Looks like it just chucks you back out again.
Unless, wait, what if it's. What if the other end of this portal is laying down? And so when I throw the items, they just kind of like go up into the air and then fall back down into the portal. Maybe that's why it's doing this.
Well, Peter has a good idea to test this, but Soren wouldn't come up with it. But you could throw something that's more bouncy, see if it comes back with more momentum than something that, like if you threw a feather, then if it was a bounce, it wouldn't bounce.
How about just sticking something in it, like not throw
Okay.
it? Either
No.
like there was a hat in the box, right? Why not just take that and try poking it with your hat?
Yeah, we
Don't
could just
put
like.
anything in the portal while you're touching it.
Why not?
Well, if you get transported to some faraway place, I'm gonna have to follow you.
But, I mean, I don't think that would happen. Let me.
That's probably not going to happen.
I'm glad that you don't think that would happen. I don't share
Listen,
your optimism.
you thought this was a freaking worm. I'm the expert here. Let's get a stick and see how it works. Just real quick before we go. Carthos, can you hand me that stick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And then I take the stick and I slowly push it through into the portal.
Okay. Another D10.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
Or a bad one.
Okay.
The twig gets grabbed by an owlbear, and you get pulled through the portal.
Ah, shit, it's the owlbear dimension.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, cool. That's a good one. Right, so you put the stick through. As it passes through the field, it you feel like a bit of resistance, like it's like pushing something through, like it's like viscous almost. You push it through, and as it gets a few inches in, it suddenly pools. So I'll need you to make strength. Well, I guess dexterity saving throw, unless you want to hold on, in which case it is strength saving throw. So I guess, well, what do you want to do if it starts to pool?
I think Errol's like, he's really book smart, but he's not very street smart. I think he would just like try to hold on to it, especially since he's kind of a stronger person. That would just kind of like be his. You said strength.
Yep.
Okay, just straight up strength. Soren's so pissed at me right now. He was just shaking his head. It's 7.
Okay. So yeah, you try to hold on, and you feel yourself getting pulled closer to the portal. It seems to be like unyielding, like the pull of it, and you. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll say this is that you're as you're holding onto it, like you get pulled closer and closer, and just as you get to the point where you decide, right, I should let go of this because I'm going to go into it. My arm's going to start going in, and you at that point, well, I mean, it doesn't matter because you rolled low, so you get roughly to that point, and your hand actually does pass through slightly, and maybe a couple of your fingers enter through the field, and at that point it slips out your grasp. But when you kind of recover from that, you kind of step back, like breathing, like the adrenaline of like oh shit, I almost like went through there head first, and that would have been embarrassing. But you actually look at your fingers because they feel odd, and actually they are like dripping wet, as if you just stuck your hand in water. And they smell a bit like funky as well.
I was about to say I sniff my fingers to see.
Yeah, no, they smell like what's the word? Like
mildewy, maybe.
Yeah, that kind of yeah, like and a little bit of like rot as well, like not very nice, but like a wet, moldy kind of yeah.
And Soren says, "Brilliant! Stick your head in next time," and smacks him over the back of the head with his stick.
All right.
This is like this campaign's like throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity moment.
Exactly. That is what I was thinking of.
You're Pippin in this scenario.
There's an owlbear coming through any second.
I'm gonna turn off the portal.
Nah, just leave it on. What's the worst thing that can happen?
No, I'm turning it off. That was really it. Putting your hand into a box, like those mystery boxes you put your hand in, and it's like spaghetti. It's like, ooh, it's brains. That's what it felt like for me. I'm turning off the portal.
Okay.
Turn it off.
Yep, absolutely fine. I mean, it's easy enough to deactivate it. I think now that you've figured out how to turn it on. I was going to say that you can decide to leave it on or to turn it off as well. So it like blinks out, and again, it just returns as it was when you first saw it. Just nothing within the frame, and you can obviously step into it again at that point and just be on the rocks. That's it. That was interesting.
That was so unnerving. I want to get out of this cave.
Good. I'm glad we're of similar mind. Karthos?
Yeah, sure. Let's get a.
Want to stick your fingers in any portals?
No, but I'm curious. Like, on the way out, we could check out the haunted tunnels.
We
You
could.
mean the haunted tunnel?
Alternatively, we could not do that.
Honestly,
and instead,
though, like that letter that the Queen wrote, it just seemed kind of half-assed. I feel like it was propaganda, Like I bet there's something in there that she doesn't want anyone to see.
that is possible. Alternatively, there's something that will eat your face.
Yeah, but why wouldn't she just say that?
I hit him on the back of the head with my stick again.
Ow, stop.
Someone's going into like dad mode.
Yeah, it's just on the right as we're as we can just take a quick peek, and if it turns out to be a vampire or something, we just book it. Even faster than you wanted.
Yeah. Please, Soren.
You're determined to get us all killed.
I'm not determined to get us all killed. I just want to know what's going on.
You are determined to get
I'm
us
a scholar.
all killed. I want to make it home.
I'm naturally curious. I want to just peek inside.
I know you're naturally curious. Are you not interested to see what's in Kala?
I mean, yeah, we can see that after we look inside the haunted tunnel. Are you chicken?
Am I a chicken?
Come on, scaredy cat.
22 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit. Yeah.
Ow, what the fuck?
This could knock him unconscious.
Oh my god.
What are you on? Were you on 17? Did you roll for your short rest?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you've already
I was
done that.
I was at 4 earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, you're down to 11.
Yes, I am. All right, I guess we're going then.
Soren's tactic is just to beat you up so much that you couldn't possibly survive any fight. Get you back to 4.
You're gonna regret doing this, Soren, if we see a troll on our way back.
I think we would regret I would regret fighting a vampire more if I saw a troll on the way back. Karthos, please help me. The
No, let's just
child
go.
is being an idiot.
Hey, it was
Don't.
me who suggested us to go and get the tunnels. You're the one being stubborn about it. Bludgeoningly stubborn.
I can't believe you actually hit me. Is this how elves work? They're just assholes.
This is how people work who want to live.
We can run away. It's staying in that tunnel. If it could chase us, then it would have already been out of that tunnel.
Look at me. And I kind of like I look at him with the the 600-year-old eyes and the burnt ass face. I'm like, do you think I lived this long by running into fights when I was beat up?
You don't even know what's going on.
Correct.
Post. It could.
You
Could
don't
be
know what's
with
going
having
on.
sex. We don't know.
You don't know what's going on.
That's why we need to find out. We're scholars. That's what we do. We push into the dark unknown so that we can learn from it. This is my profession.
No,
My
it
profession
isn't.
is to stick my head into weird portals and holes.
If that is, in fact, your profession, I don't expect you to live very long.
Well, hey, that's why I write everything down as I go.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I've come all this way with an idiot. And Soren just like walks up the stairs and out of the cave and is going to sit outside. I'm just not reasoning with him anymore.
Okay.
I guess the two of us head for the tunnel then.
No, I think we should go follow Soren.
Alright.
You can obviously look at it while you go past.
Yeah, I think I would at least look down the hallway on the way there.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, as you make your way out of this initial chamber, leaving the portal behind, there is another kind of mine track that leads further into the mountain, and you would surmise that it leads to the mines proper, the actual mines. And that obviously just leads into darkness and remains unexplored. You make your way up. You basically have to walk up the minecart path all the way up, spiraling up and up and up. It's quite steep, quite hard going. Past a few goblin bodies. Their fires and their torches are still burning on the wall sconces. Eventually make your way up. If you move over to level 1, you come to this point here where the boulder trap was. It kind of fell down, and I think that's where initially where you guys got the carts as well. But yeah, obviously I'm assuming Soren, then you come up this way, up and then over the old bridge again. Is that correct on your way out?
Yes. That was
Okay.
that was the way we came in. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And the other two guys, for which way you're going, obviously you can continue up the main cart, which passes the entrance to that tunnel, or go around the same way that's.
That's it. I think I would kind of go long way around this, so I could at least take a peek down where the tunnels are.
You're muted, Craig.
Sorry, yeah. So would you go the way you came in or the minecart way? Sorry,
Minecart way.
the minecart way. Okay. So like you'd end up kind of in this area here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you move along to that area. The you. Oh, where are we? Just written down somewhere. Not there. Not there. Somewhere here. Okay, yeah, so yeah, you have a look inside. Initial reaction, just from what you can see, in fact, I'll reveal some of that. It kind of looks like it splits out into two different chambers. The kind of steps leading up and kind of separates into different chambers. But I mean, from what little you can see, looks like maybe a forge or a workshop kind of area initially. You do see there is a body lying on the floor, and it's lying kind of just at these steps actually, just at the top of these steps. Click. No, wait, I need to do this. Yeah, just at the top of these steps here, and it's lying kind of face down, like face down and head at the, like pointing towards you guys, kind of thing. Just kind of splayed on the ground. It looks, stature-wise, it looks dwarven.
I think.
Sorry, there's a little more info. The walls inside this area, as soon as you kind of start to go up the stairs, the walls look different. They look like they're like streaked almost. It's kind of weird patterns. Like they've got like weird like drooping lines like on them, and it's kind of like in patches kind of all over this area on the walls, floor and ceiling. And there's some weird shapes on the floor, like at the top of the like on these other steps that you can start to make out, but it's kind of hard to see. Hard to see more.
I think Errol is gonna just go up the same paths Soren took up, and avoid the tunnel. But he's also gonna be like swearing under his breath about Soren, like fucker trusted animals for his fucking knowledge and doesn't know how to fucking read a book, and just like be an idiot. Just spent the last half hour talking to a scorpion and whiskey, asking it questions.
Amazing. Just fuming at each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I mean, well, that's what Carthos sees.
Yeah. I'm
sorry. If you want to give me a perception or something, you can get a bit more info. That's just your initial glance as you trying to look in as you go past without lingering. But that's your initial what you see initially.
Okay. I think I actually stop and see if I can hear anything that's going on there.
Okay.
That's going to be a pure roll. Not a lot to say, turns out.
Oh, no. You think you hear like, again, this is something that Errol heard before the last session. You kind of hear like the movement of air, like as in like wind passing over like an open window or something like that. But you kind of you're not sure if it's of its origin or anything like that, and it's kind of so faint that you probably write it off as just coming from the open entrance, which is not far away from where you are now, to the mine. But other than that, I'll say it's not much of a represent role, but it certainly looks like I'll say that the the shapes on the floor further in look to be melted, and they could be like humanoid shaped or have once been humanoid shaped, but they're like melted like onto the floor like a weird mush, and then they're kind of just a gloop.
Hmm. I'm very curious, but I think if I'm the only one,
Come on, Karthos. You know you want to go in there.
like the body there, it's goblin, right?
Dwarf.
It's dwarf.
Oh,
Which is really interesting. Yeah.
okay. How that like does it look recently dead or?
Give me is it like a medicine check? I think would be the one for that.
Go up and touch it.
I think. Oh, boy. Okay. I was going to say take a disadvantage, but you don't need it.
This thing
Wait,
just
wait.
died as you looked in.
It's hard to tell. It certainly doesn't look. It certainly doesn't look fresh. I'll say that. So if you it doesn't look fresh, but it also doesn't look. It's not a skeleton, obviously. So it's something between last. I don't know. I could give you a ballpark, but you're not sure without going closer.
Yeah, I think
You don't like smell like if a body was recently dead, it would smell. You don't smell that.
Okay.
God damn,
So-
Craig, why did I give you such an easy time constraint? I want to investigate all this crap too. Why did I give you such an easy time constraint?
I know you've made it really like easy for your character to just say no, we gotta go.
I want to stay. Like Peter wants to stay, but Soren's not staying, dude.
No, I can totally empathize with Soren. He's already. I think before you left the last time, you had agreed to go with Fabia, and then you left and you went and did the whole lighthouse thing, and then you came back and was like, okay, we'll go this time, and then you've disappeared again, and so he must be like,
yeah,
super like.
I feel quite guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, the mine's not going anywhere. The portal's not going anywhere. So, I don't know.
I think I'm at least going to check on the dwarf and see if he's carrying anything else.
Oh my god, I'm going to at least do that. I'm going to at least do that. I'm going to at least go in a few feet. I'm going to at least go up the stairs.
Karthos, don't listen to him.
Okay.
I'm loving it.
So, what's that? An investigation check? Oh no, sorry, you've not rolled it yet. So give me an investigation, please. Assuming that you go over and touch the body and you're investigating.
Yeah, I go over and touch the body, so I guess somewhere around here.
Okay. Very good.
Oh.
Oh, very nice. Okay, I gotta give you something for that. Give me a second. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Okay. You find I'll say it's like a the it's like a hair like clasp thing that this dwarf's wearing to keep like his hair styled. And he's got like this his like dark hair is like oiled. But this clasp it's like the shape of like a frog, like a green frog, and it's got little golden eyes, and it is kind of like clipping his hair on. And it kind of that's maybe what has drawn you in, because you could obviously see that just on the back of his head, on the top of his head. Yeah, you spot that. I'll say as well, like when you get closer, like the state of the hair and some of the skin on the back of the hands, maybe the hands are like clawing as if to get down further down the stairs, as if it was like trying to get out of this place. And the it looks to be about a few years old. The body, it's not ancient, it's not fresh, but it's a few years, give or take.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what you see.
I think Carthos will kind of since he's the only one sneakily opened up the air clamp and pocketed it for now.
Okay. As you're doing so, you're kind of focusing on that. Obviously, not with utmost respect for the dead. Obviously, as you do, you hear this noise coming from further into the chamber, and it's kind of like an intake of breath, like a kind of noise, like inrush of air. And you see from one of the melted like lumps, and as you kind of moved in closer now, you see that the lumps on the floor and the walls and the ceiling as well. It's just like at some point this area has been completely like drenched in something like acidic or something that's just absolutely destroyed the stone and the flesh and bone and just melted these creatures, whatever they once were, into mulch. And you see rising from one of these shapes this spectral white shape begin to swirl and rise out of the body.
I yell out,
You fools.
hi, and I start backing out slowly.
Okay. I mean, as you do, it like it starts. It's like formulating as it swirls around this figure, and this like vaguely humanoid. Let's see if I can get a picture actually for you. Should have had this prepared. Nice.
You're smiling now, but you're not going to be smiling here in a moment.
Can I just let me just do this quickly? Sorry. I think maybe the noise would get to you guys maybe would hear the noise. I'm not sure. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me upload the photo. It's not a photo. Cool. There we go. Cool. Kind of like that. Not that big. Don't worry. It's not that big. But that's what it looks like, just for visual aid. It kind of rises like in a swirl of like spectral energy, and is about here, and starts to slowly like move towards you, or not slowly, but starts to kind of just in a swirl, a swoosh of air, move down towards you.
Can I knowledge check it?
Yeah, give me religion.
Okay.
Oh God.
Carthos' first reaction. Oh, this is very interesting. Let's have a look at this thing. Let's investigate it. Have I seen this in the Bible before? Oh, yes, very interesting.
What have we got here?
I swear, I know at least 20 ago.
Oh,
Nice 20. You know exactly what this is.
Okay. Nice 20. Okay, yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, it is an undead creature. It is a specter. You know that specters are creatures that are born out of like some like intense like anguish or like horrible circumstances when something dies. like a ghost has some kind of like some aspect of its former self, but a spectre is more of a like just purely like wrathful, like angry. It's like it hates everything that's living because it doesn't get to live anymore, kind of creature. And it's they're just they are kind of bound to the place where their body lays. Definitely not purely
The opposite of Casper.
Yeah,
the friendly
yeah.
ghost.
He's one of the bad guys from Casper, the bad ghosts. But yeah, definitely an evil creature, undead. Yeah.
Okay, I think Arthos would just book it then.
Okay.
Like a run down and outside.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it in terms of like you did notice it and things like that. So I'll give you the ability to do that without it grabbing you before you can get out. So as you retreat, it makes it to like roughly the location of where that body was there, and then it kind of you see it kind of like a mime almost. It just kind of presses up against an invisible barrier and can't. And you see from behind it, you see the other one swirl up just as you turn and run. But it's they seem furious, just absolutely rage filled that they cannot end your like that it's like an intense jealousy that you live and that they cannot do anything to end that and to drag you down into their state. Get that from their expression.
When Karthus comes out of this cave all white and talking about ghosts, I'm gonna make so much fun of him.
Where are you guys?
God, this is like an episode of Scooby Doo.
I'm outside, dude. You can see where my token is. I'm sat on this bench inside this storeroom, waiting for you.
Oh, I forgot to move my guy out.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
Soren and
push it.
Arol are just like stood outside, just like looking in opposite directions.
Smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. Fuming.
No, definitely. I'm kind of like not in that little hut with you. Definitely not. And maybe like over here.
Yeah, I guess I just run down and say, okay, so turns out there was an actual ghost there.
What?
Yeah, there was a specter.
Are you okay, Karthos? You don't usually believe in fairy tales.
Soren just comes out like, brilliant, Spectre, fantastic. Good job we didn't go down there. Shall we go?
Hey, might have find something else. With the three of us, I reckon we could take it on. But
I can't take anything on right now. If I had to fight a cat, I think I might struggle.
Well, yeah, don't open. By the way, speaking of cats, don't open up this door right here.
Yeah, as you mentioned that though, you notice that the door has opened since you last saw it. It's cracked open.
Thank God. Thank God.
There's no noises from inside.
Oh, I guess they got away. That's good to hear.
I'll also say, Karthus, that you did get the pin from the guy's hair.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll send you an item thing for that in a while. Well, yeah, I'll send it to you at some point.
Well, I guess we'll just go on our merry way.
Cool. Okay. Give me a second.
You sure you don't want to go and fight the Spectre? It is your profession, after all.
No, my profession
Off you
is
go.
to figure things out, not to, put
Oh,
myself
so
in the
just
midst
walk
of
into
danger.
caves where there might be a Spectre. When there's definitely a Spectre, that's a no-go.
Yeah, I'm not
But there
an
might be a
idiot.
Spectre, that's just brilliant.
I need to figure it out, okay? Jeez. My job is to poke my head into the hole, write down what I see there, and then poke it right back out.
And
Hey,
my
to be
job
fair,
My job is to stop people poking their heads in holes so that they live another century.
Hey, to be fair, I did precisely as well. Went there and checked out what's going on, and when we found out what's going on, we left.
There's no point to life if you don't poke your head into a couple of holes, Soren. At least not for me. There's nothing left to preserve if I don't explore. Why do you think I'm out here in the first place? I could have been at home in my dad's mansion.
Oh, humans are difficult.
Excuse me, I'm only half human.
I can imagine like the camera's like panning out as you're having this kind of ongoing argument, and it fades out to the night. Just into the quiet, just you two just bickering. Probably Carthos like pulling out some drink or something.
Yeah, Carthos is getting steadily sloshed. Someone's just being a grumpy old asshole, and Owl's just being an impossible dick.
Yeah,
we make a good group.
I miss Lee.
I miss Lee too. Lee was sensible, but also really weird.
Yeah.
So innocent Lee was.
Yeah. Lee would have just been like, it's probably a good job we didn't fight any spectres. But then again, I don't blame you for wanting to look at the spectres.
Alright.
It is wise to follow one's elders.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. I think let's take a short break just now. Maybe just 5 minutes. How late are you guys able to go tonight?
Pretty late.
I don't have anything to do, but I am kind of tired. So as long as you don't keep me up all night, I'm all good.
No. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. No worries. I don't think we'll be another 4-hour job. So what if that's 10 o'clock? Maybe like till 11 or something. We'll see how we get on.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll pick up on the journey back to Eagle's Rest in a wee moment.
All right, cool.
Did you say 5
Alright.
minutes? I can't remember.
5, yeah, 5
okay.
minutes. Okay.
All right.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ever since I moved to Austin, Texas, I've been introduced to a lot of very liberal people, a lot of vegans and things like that, and it's starting to rub off on me, I gotta say. I've been eating a lot less meat ever since I moved to Austin, and right now I am drinking oat milk.
Wow. Is it are you, does it all taste rubbish? Is what I'm trying to say. Or is it not so bad?
Well, I mean, I guess I've just been kind of like making dishes more often that just happen to be vegan, you know, because one of my things is like I want to know how to make things that taste good for my vegan friends, I suppose, is the big thing. Like, I made like a vegan split pea soup last night, for instance. Oat milk is definitely not as good as cow's milk, I'll say, but it's not that bad.
Milky, milky.
Yeah.
That's how cows go.
Yeah, I've never really.
I mean, not to
tried it.
Sorin. To Sorin, cows go, "Oh, hello, Sorin. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm Derek, your friend, the cow."
It's just weird because like you hear about all these things, but now that I live here, it's just like actually like half of my coworkers are vegan, and it just like kind of blows my mind, like strict vegans, you know. So I'm just like trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, it's a big like culture shift, like a whole like lifestyle shift.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess it's a bit hard at first, but if you get the recipes and know what to buy and things, then it's not too hard out of a shift.
Well, it's just weird. Well, I like to cook, I guess, is the thing. So that's what I talk about at work all the time. But I don't want to go to work and just go like, "Yeah, I made a big steak last night and it was really delicious," you know, and I sprinkled pig's blood on it, you know, because I think that like put a lot of my coworkers off. So I'm, trying to do some more vegan dishes so I can talk about them and be really excited about them with other people.
Fair enough.
Also, I have moved from paper to PDF for my character sheet, but I've noticed that when I save my PDF, it does not save any new information on it. I'm using the official PDF from the D&D website. What do you guys use?
I know Atla uses like some weird and wonderful big like 20 megabyte.
The thing that's kind of weird. Like there was this kind of script program that was being sold on drive-through RPD, if you which kind of it's like a PDF that autofills information you add. You can I can say that I'm a dwarf cleric, and it autofills in the information how many hit points I have here and there, and what features I have here and there. The problem, well, first of all, is for example, if you have all the information, it's big like Rex, as like it can get over 25 megabytes. So usually I can convert into the small PDF file before sending. But I also think that it got context struck with a copyright infringement or something, because the version on the site right now is a lot less diminished, like only the SRD documents stuff.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate how they keep doing that to although I heard that their program that they made is really good and really well liked. The oh, I totally forgot. They made that cool music video for it.
D&D Beyond.
D&D,
Yeah.
D&D,
That's
D&D
Critical Role, isn't it?
Beyond.
That's Sam Regal.
Yeah, like I've tried it. It's good, great. It looks good. Like the only thing is, I'm gonna rebuy all my books.
It's
on
very expensive.
That's the issue. You've got to buy everything to get access, and even yeah, it's not ideal. I'm quite lucky enough to have one of my players in a play-by-post game has like the full DM package or whatever it's called,
Oh yeah,
and
so you can give it to
you can
your
allow
players.
players, yeah, so I can get
Yeah.
access to anything that he's got access to, which is quite neat. But yeah, it's expensive if you need to go and buy it off. You just want to make some like a character that's anything other than from the free the free rules. You need to buy some stuff.
Which is basically like one archetype per class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something like that. That's right. And there's no feats or anything. Like the thing is, like, it can be. It's a really cool website and really cool. The things it can do is really nicely laid out and everything like that. I use it quite a lot for as a DM, just for looking up spells and monsters and things like that. That's why it's quite. I find it quite useful. But yeah, no, it could be great, but it's not really accessible to everyone.
Mhm.
But no, in terms of other character sheets, I've used just PDFs before, and
I wonder if it's because I use because like when you download the PDFs, there's like different types. Like there's the easy fill PDF or something. Maybe I chose a weird one because it's like it'll save all of like most of my information, but things like my current HP points will just go away whenever I exit out of it. It's really strange. I don't know what the issue is, so I'll probably have to figure something out then.
It's been
I
so
use
long
an
since
app.
I've done a character sheet.
Like I just use the 5th edition character sheet app. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I use, but it won't save. I don't know what's up with it.
Oh, weirded.
I'll try to use a different version of it.
Yeah, odd. Okay.
What do you think?
Let's go. So you guys head off. It is still early morning, probably like 4 a.m. or something. So you guys are knackered. You've had a short rest, so the warlocks aren't too bad. But you guys head off. Soren, can you give me a survival check with advantage? Not so much just to know direction or anything, but more like how we talked about avoiding troll habitats and things like that. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's plenty. So you effectively retrace your steps and soon find yourself on the. I can't remember if I gave that road a name, but basically the main north-south road along the coast. If you were to turn right and go north, you would eventually come to Grey Point, but you turn to the left and south, head along the road towards Eagle's Rest. You see no sign of Gloamy and Halfkey, the troll hunter, and is there anything you want to do while you travel specifically?
Have a lot of awkward silence with Soren.
Just like that.
I think it is. I think it is just like we're all knackered, dude. I think it's just like Soren's trying his best to like keep up the pace and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's
yeah.
fair.
Soren beating me with the stick was a real mood dampener, I think.
I think it was too.
Maybe he'll apologize one day.
Really killed my vibe, honestly.
that was the intention of the maneuver. You were vibing way too hard. Like, oh yeah, let's check this out. Let's check that out. Let's get ourselves killed. No. No dying today.
Okay, so as you come eventually to the path, the road that leads westwards towards Eagle's Rest, or continues straight on down to Flennan's Bridge, and of course you head towards Eagle's Rest. As you do, as you make your way over the hills, kind of crest over between the trees, passing amongst the fields that lay on the outskirts of the village, you see the small village before you, just kind of beginning to be like bathed in the dawn light as the sun rises. Mentum, the sun, rises out of the sea, the endless ocean. You make your way into town. It's very quiet. You start to begin to see like farmers and farmhands start to like wearily get out into
Wait, the sun rises in the west here? Sorry.
Sure. Why not? You know, I've thought about that before, and I've wondered, need it be fixed to east-west? Could it be random, or could it be, constantly rotating around so that it could be, well, sometimes of the year it's east, sometimes of the year it rises in the west? Would that have like
could be any
effect,
shit, dude.
like,
I mean,
I know.
It doesn't have to be a star. It could rise in the west and set in the west. It could rise in the west, do 3 laps around the sky, and then like set straight down into a massive crater in the middle of the earth.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not a star as the people of this like world understand it. It's the
a god, or like a primordial
it's the god.
force.
Primordial force. Yeah. Beyond that, it's like it is light and it is good. Like incarnate in this thing in the sky, and there's this like legend, or this it's more of a legend. It's more than a legend. It's something bigger than that. But it's the idea that Mentum is the sun, and the moon is the is Ulfuil, the kind of antithesis of Mentum, and they kind of chase each other through the sky every day and night, and it's a constant cycle of an endless battle between the two, chasing each other through the sky. So yeah, no, I totally think it could rise in the west, and it is now canon that it does so. So good. Well, glad you noticed that.
Well, now I need to ask about like eclipses and like how all that works out, if it works out.
It's because I was trying to decide if Sorin is used to seeing the sunrise, and probably he is not if it rises in the west.
But it could rise from anywhere, so he probably is used to seeing it. Yeah, I'll say that it could rise. It could rise from anywhere. It does. Maybe I don't know if it's random or if it can be. It's one of those things that can be, predicted and things like that. But it can certainly, certainly seen it before. Eclipses and things. You could say that eclipses are maybe something like a perceived victory of Mentum over Ulfuil when the moon gets eclipsed over, and vice versa when the sun gets eclipsed. Like, it's a momentous occasion that is either celebrated or mourned, or it could mean kind of good tidings or ill. But yeah, it could even be that the sun and the moon are in the sky at the same time for some reason, or I guess that happens normally, but passing quite close to each other for some reason or other. I'd imagine that the Innovatorium, like the university that you guys attended, has whole like schools dedicated to studying lunar and solar movements and predicting what that means and what's going to come next and what it means for weather and all of that stuff.
I reckon it's like weather forecasting. That like there are people who are like really good at it, but they're still sometimes totally wrong, and the sun just like rises somewhere else. Exactly, and there's like a ton of people like getting ready to watch the sunrise, and then it's just somewhere else.
Yeah, it comes up behind them. Yeah, totally. Like it's almost predictable, and they think that they think that they know it, but it's just unpredictable enough that it throws them. To kind of reiterate that it's not a predictable thing. It's not physics. Yeah, it's not physics. That's right. So you come into Eagle's Rest at dawn. Where do you go?
I want to go find Fabio, I guess.
It makes me really sad that you deleted Lee's.
I know, I'm
little
sorry.
circle.
I'm sorry.
Makes you really sad that what?
Lee's little icon was here in town,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Craig deleted it
gone.
real quick before.
Oh, Lee! No!
Left click,
Yeah.
delete.
You should have just hid him somewhere, somewhere in town.
It's been in the.
It's
in
like,
the
where's
pub the whole
Wally,
time.
but with Lee.
He's been in the pub the whole time. He tried his first beer, and he hasn't been the same ever since.
Okay, so yeah.
Maybe
I
you're
don't know if we
staying at the
talked about-
shop, right?
Yeah,
Right.
she was working at the shop. I guess she would be staying there as well. The shop's not currently open at the minute. It's too early. It's over here. Sorry, I'll drop you guys over there.
I mean, I go knock the door, or like knock the back door. Like I'm gonna try and get somebody's attention.
Okay, yeah. No, after a little while, the shopkeeper. I'm not ready for this.
Oh,
I've
it's
forgotten her
like
name.
Winnie, right? Is it?
I think it's Winnie. Yeah. Here's too many things open. Close that. Close that. Close that. Close that.
Winnie, perfect.
Got it.
WYNNIE.
That's the one. Yep. She opens the door, shocked to see exhausted-looking, scarred, like really tall elf, but is after the initial shock is pleased to see you. Yeah, no, happy to see you. And she says, "Oh, you can hear like a baby crying in the background as well, up somewhere further up into the house, into the back end of the shop room, the accommodation part of the building. But yeah, no, she says, "Oh, like, glad you've returned. Are you all well?" She kind of looking out into the street.
As well as could reasonably be expected after a fight with an army of goblins. We look pretty good considering. Is Fabiania here?
She's like looking at you, and she kind of laughs a bit, like as if you're joking, and she's like, there's like a double take, and it's like, oh, maybe he's being serious. And she says, yeah, sure, I'll fetch her. And she hurries into the shop and fetches Fabia. Soon Fabia comes out, dressed like in this like long it's kind of like looks like a simple garment that anyone else in town would wear, but the way she wears it just seems to make it so much more elegant and graceful. It's like this green kind of fabric, nothing too special, but it's like a long kind of dress. She smiles as soon as she sees Soren, of course, and rushes over, gives him a big hug, and says, like, "Oh, thank Mentum, you've returned once more. I hate to see you leave, but did you?" She says, "Did you accomplish what you set out to achieve?"
I think so. You should probably thank Karthos rather than Mentum. It's mostly his quick thinking that got us back here, but have they just gone for a walk?
I just wandered off. She looks to see where he's gone, but she says, "Oh, I'll be sure to thank your friends. I'm glad that you found 3 to walk the path with you, and that you have allies."
Have you seen Lee?
In this street? And she stops. She says, "No, is he not with you?"
He vanished without trace, and I tried to cast a spell to find him, but without any joy.
She like kind of holds her hand over her chest, and just kind of looks like crestfallen. And
Wasn't
says,
he?
like-
He knew you from somewhere, or you were at? You said you were at somewhere, and he went.
Yeah,
He went all strange.
Yeah, that's right. What was that about?
There's a place beginning with N.
And
With Lee's backstory, right?
yeah, I'm trying to find it. What was that? Sorry, I was looking for these notes earlier and I couldn't find them. Like the secret things that Lee knows notes. I know I put it somewhere stupid. Yeah, sorry, just bear with me 2 seconds. No, not there. There definitely was something. Sorry, I should really know this. Because I don't want to just say because I don't know if Lee told everyone.
We definitely don't know the backstory of it, but
No,
I've heard the name of the place, but that's it.
no. No, it's definitely something like Lee had a reaction to Fabia being there.
Yeah, he was like, and then he was all like, trying to like make it up to her or something. I think.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Nothing there. No, got that somewhere. I've got it all detailed. So there are many secret things. Okay. Okay, I can't find it at the minute, so keep having a little look. But yeah, she says that yeah, no, he did seem to act oddly around me, which strange. I mean, his clan was from up north, right?
Somewhere.
Like that.
What did you-
Somewhere.
What do you know of his origins?
He didn't tell, and I didn't ask.
It was in the mountains, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I found him in the mountains. That's all I know. He was wandering the places. Had a freshish wound. You know, you saw the arm and horrible stuff. It took him quite a while before he could fight again.
Yeah, he looked so sure of himself when I met him with you. I do hope he's okay.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
I hope so.
I don't know where the others have gone, but we should find Wickham.
Wickham, yeah, he was due back this morning. Let's head down to the docks and see if he's there. She kind of like takes your arm in hers and starts walking with you down towards the water.
Hold off again.
Oh no. Nick going, where are you guys off to? And we cut to Errol and Carthos.
I'm checking out the gas station over here.
You cut to Carol and Arthos in tavern, 4 pints down.
Honestly, that actually might be the truth.
I mean, I was going to say if you do go into the Mahogany Burrow, the innkeep is not around. What's he called? Remo, I think. Yeah, Remo. He's not around. But I mean, you could probably help yourselves if you wanted to.
I don't know. It's just Soren and Fabia have such an intimate relationship. Errol felt awkward standing there, so he probably went back to Karthos and was like, let's go get a pint.
You go for a pint.
Makes sense. Okay. So you enter. Did you just help yourself to whatever you want? There's nobody there. It's too early.
Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely. It's kind of like that scene in the movie where they just walk behind the bar and pour their own drinks, kind of like in Django. But then we leave money on the table or whatever. Even though I think he said we can get free alcohol or something.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So you guys just sit in there for a while. No problem. Get whatever seat you like. And just like the memory of that place where it brought everyone together in that first night when the pirates raided the town. There's probably a lot of kind of memories flying around of that common room. Yeah, but it seems to be coming along in terms of its repairs. It's almost back to full health again. The inn. Okay, so cut to Soren and Fabia down by the docks. The wind's kind of obviously whipping in from the endless sea, and it's kind of like pulling at her hair and kind of throwing it around. Yeah, no. As you look, you do see. You kind of maybe wait there for 10-20 minutes. Just kind of wandering maybe along the coastal path up towards the bluffs, and you eventually do see a figure in a rowboat approaching through the coastal waters amongst the kind of swirling green like algae that lines the shallower waters of the coast. And eventually Wiccan pulls up in his boat in the docks. And I'm assuming you'll probably go around to meet him down at the pier as he arrives.
Yeah, Soren would like sigh and be like, I've seen far too much of the sea lately.
Fabia just smiles at that and like nudges him a bit and says, "You'll get used to it." And it kind of makes you think like it's been so long since you'd seen her that you haven't really had much time to catch up with where she had been and what she'd done in that time. I think we had agreed that that you had left before she did, but that I think she had said that she had left not long after you in another attempt to find out what was happening with your people, and that she
we
was just like
places, right?
Say that again.
We came from different places, right? Like she went to these.
That's right.
Like the woods north of Grey Point, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she went north and
and I just stayed put because I'm a stubborn old bastard.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like, well, I would have been a stubborn young bastard at the time, I suppose.
Slightly younger.
A few centuries younger.
A few centuries younger. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been a long time. But looks like you may have some time together eventually. And how does Soren feel about like the prospect of being close to her and spending time with her for like a prolonged period, a seemingly prolonged period?
I don't know. I think he's been too busy to think about it.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Too tired as well.
Yeah, he's more on the point of falling on his face than like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be like to spend more time near Fabia. I wonder what it's going to be like having this long voyage. Like, he's just like, I gotta get on this boat, and then get on another boat, and then get to some druids. Let's try not to fight any specters on the way.
Okay. So Fishmaster Wiccan eventually kind of expertly like ropes in the boat and secures it against the pier with some rope, and gives you a wave and a smile as he's walking up to you. He kind of takes his hat off and just runs a hand through his hair. He looks like fresh, like he's been up for a while making the journey back to the village. And he says "Oh, Soren, nice to see you again. Have you been keeping well?"
Not as well as you, I suspect. But, we're here. Have the others aren't here yet?
What do you mean by the others? Sorry.
Karthos and Errol, right?
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, okay.
I was saying
no,
Mr. Wickham, yeah.
Yeah. No, he says he says he's been. He explains that he's been busy as well, just kind of running up and down the coast since he last saw you. And he kind of he says like as he's maybe unloading a few sacks and things from the boat. He's kind of bringing into town to drop off. And he's kind of, as he's working, he's kind of just talking about Great Point and how much it's changed so significantly since you guys were there to help with the overthrowing that tyrant that was in charge for a while. It really is. It's come on a lot. Bethwyn's been really good for that place. It's only been a few days, but I'll be glad to bring you there and show you what's much improved.
That's certainly good to hear. It could have gone very differently.
Aye, it could. It's maybe all worked out for the best. Maybe now all our fortunes will start to turn around, and things will begin to return to normal. That would be nice.
I think so. Although I don't know. I mean, it's nice out here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I imagine he kind of looks out towards the end of the sea, and just the sunlight kind of like playing against the sea further out, and against the kind of more green tinged water as you get closer to shore. And yeah, it's a nice morning. It's been a lot of like grim like weather days since this adventure started, and it seems to be a nicer day today, which is it really feels warms the heart. If you were out in the sun rather than in the bar drinking, obviously. But yeah, no, it's a nice moment, and he finishes offloading and kind of cracks his back and looks at the pile of stuff that he's still to offload, and he's like, "Would you mind giving me a hand? I need to take this up to the warehouse before we head back off again." I take it you want to get to Grey Point as soon as possible?
Yes, please. And I'll take what is it? Is it like a pile of supplies?
Yeah, basically like crates, sacks, things like maybe a few bundles of tools and things like that. There's some lengths of timber.
Someone will like pick up one pile of things and just like thunk, like give it straight to Fabia, and then he picks up another one, and she's maybe not quite expecting this.
No, she is she's still off looking off it into the sea. With you.
So he just picks up like a faggot of wood and
yeah, just kind of like stumbles a little bit. She soon realizes that she doesn't mind. She's no she's fit and she's strong. She's an elf. She's not frail, and she can deal with it. So she marches off with Wiccan and Soren towards the warehouse. And as you go, you enter the warehouse, and this is like there's like a big kind of dry dock area that has been created so that they can work on this ship. You see the letters, the name of the ship is called the Dawn Spray.
The Dawn Spray.
Yeah, it's been a while. And it's come on a little bit, but I mean, it's a massive ship for a small village to try and repair, and obviously they had supply issues, and that's beginning to be resolved. So, you know that Thatch is like jack of all trades kind of guy, and he's the one that's been. Wiccan's probably filling you in on this, talking about some of the details of the ship and what's been getting repaired and that kind of thing.
Yeah, Soren would just be like, I keep wanting to help with all of this, but then I realise I never have the time.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'd love to stay. I'd love to get some fishing done as well. It's been too long since I've taken to the sea just to get some fish. Missing Vessie, to be honest. I seem to be just seeing her in passing as I go back and forth between the villages these days. So, as I say, it'll be nice when everything calms down. But not to say that I'm not happy to help. There's still plenty of journeys to be made back and forth before we're there yet. Is it just the two of you that are coming?
I hope Owl and Carthus are here. I don't expect to see Lee. I think maybe he has issues of his own to attend to. I don't know. But Owl and Carthos were around here. We saw them outside the shop. Then they sort of... did you see where they went? Fabiania?
She kind of like... Sorry.
I was gonna say in the meantime, like, Errol is just, like, bitching about Soren, like, what the fuck? Who does he think he is? He just smacked me in the head like that with his freaking stick. And he's just, like, drinking with Karthos in this empty bar and just, like, complaining and bitching about the whole trip and stuff. And it's
Soren has actually forgotten. Like, Soren's already forgotten that he hit Owl on the head.
Yeah, and it obviously, like, really bruised Errol's ego, and he's just like bitching and, like, talking about how, like, he just wants to go back to his research and all this stuff, and I don't even know why I'm helping that freaking elf, even though he's half elf. But Errol's just kind of letting a lot of steam out in this empty bar.
Carlos is just half-heartedly nodding as
I like to imagine Errol's just, like, pouring more and more alcohol from behind the counter and stuff, and
yeah, I can picture that scene so clearly. That's
me too.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. After a while, it's still early. It's obviously just passing dawn. So maybe you're a few hours. Yeah, so you're probably at 7 a.m. or something like that now. You can hear the town starting to wake up around you. Coming through one of the doors from upstairs, you see a figure coming through. You recognize him as a young man who was the guy that was telling, singing songs and entertaining.
Yeah, the one that we shot down.
That's right. He walks in and he's kind of like, he's got like shoulder length blonde hair, and he's kind of like slicking it back and shaping it as he's walking. He's got like this finely dressed, like really nice clothes on, like nice detailed cuffs and nice trousers, and walk like really cool boots that like have barely seen use. Like he's just like well looked after. And he kind of walks in, but he like stops when he sees other people there. Like he's not expecting to see anyone else around. And just for a second, and then he like flashes the smile into his face, and holds out his arms and walks over to walks over to the two of you.
I like to imagine that Errol kind of like has his back turns towards him, and he just says, "Yeah, we'll go in a second," and just like is totally just like not even like paying attention to him or caring about him, just thinking he's like probably an employee or something, and.
Yeah. Well, he like loudly, like kind of not talking over, but he like is pretending that you've not heard him, or that you've mistaken who he is, and he says, the heroes of the village. It's so good to run into you again. I don't recall if I properly introduced myself. My name is Domenico Iverleaf, and it is a pleasure.
And I cut him off, and I just turn around and I stare at him with my glowing blue eyes. And I'm just like, sorry, we're busy right now. And I just like throw some change onto the table, like the bar, and then just like head out.
I think Carter's kind of serious about Paul Leftiger looks like, sorry, it's been a trying night.
Yeah, as you both kind of turn around and he notices your eyes, he kind of just like does like just for like a second, and is like, oh, like what the hell? But then he like, you see him kind of like looking at the coins, and there's like a flash of like a bit of annoyance on his face. But as you guys leave, he kind of, there's a hesitation as you've left, and you're walking across the square outside, and you hear the doors opening again behind you. And you hear him hurrying to catch up, and he says, "I hoped I would catch him in one of your time. I've heard so many great things about you guys. I heard that you saved this town from pirates, and you've been on incredible adventures. I'd just love to hear more of your stories, and I'm honored to be in your presence, and I surely you can see that."
And I cut him off again, and I turn around and I just kind of like hold him. I'm a burly kind of guy, and I just kind of hold him at the shoulders, and I'm like, "That's great. We're busy right now. Leave us alone." And then I kind of like, I don't just let go of him. I kind of give him a little, not like a mean push, but just kind of like I let go of him in such a forceful way that he kind of like moves a little bit.
I know what you mean. And again, he's kind of shocked a bit. And
and I'm also like a little like tipsy at least.
Yeah,
sure. And it's
he of course he doesn't he kind of like he holds up his hands as you do so, just kind of waits a second till you guys continue on, and then just follows behind you a little bit, maybe 5-10 feet off, and he's like, I'm sure you can understand, like the stories, the way I tell the stories, I can have your name across all the lands, across Mid-Arniel, all the way. I could have you could be a star in Elam before you've even ever been there.
Whatever the like Eagles Rest like Green Coast version of a middle finger is, that's what I'm doing with this guy as we walk away.
And you like, if ever either of you look back, like you would see him kind of like
tear up.
He's like trying to like grit his he's like gritting his teeth, like he's like it's almost like there's this opportunity that he really wants to speak to you guys, and it's like a really good chance to get some juicy like info.
I feel so bad for him.
And he hesitates again, but he directs his he says, and what of you, Carthos? I'm sure there must be several stories you could tell from your exploits. I see. I've been all over the land, and I've rarely heard stories of such heroism and greatness. I trained in the College of Dreams, where the greatest stories are told over and over, and still I have not come across such heroes as yourselves.
I think Carthos because look, friend, We have a busy morning. Maybe when we roll around the port next time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it will only take a month. Maybe after a month we'll swap stories. Okay.
And then I'll kind of I don't know, like put a hand on Karthos's shoulder or something as I turn around too, and I'm just like, listen, I know you're probably worried that we're gonna go die or something like that, and all these stories will be lost, but I do keep pretty good records of where we've been. Just chill out.
Oh, you do. I'd love to see them one day. Have you got any that I could just get a sneak preview of?
Someday,
Like
yeah.
maybe just from.
And I turn around and I keep walking.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps going, he keeps following and pestering you like this. And I imagine at this point you've reached the like down at the docks, and you see that you see Soren, Fabia, and Wiccan kind of heading back towards the boat, and they've got arms full of supplies ready to take back up to Grey Point. In terms of like, it's things that the town has in trade for the items that they were needing desperately in the town. So probably fish. They're probably able to get some barrels of salted fish and things like that Grey Point will happily take and trade. But you, Soren, you'd probably know. You're probably intelligent enough to know that this trade that's happening is very like one way. It's like a very charitable. Like Grey Point are helping out Eagle's Rest because they know they've been in a shitty situation. Shitty situation.
I don't know. I think as far as I know, fish are like super valuable. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe not, but
I think Errol would probably know if he noticed. Like he's the son of a merchant,
yeah.
right? But
of course.
But I think Soren probably has no idea.
There's certainly a lot less going back to Grey Point than there was coming in.
Oh right. I mean, I would definitely notice the quantity of shit.
Yeah. But just the value associated, yeah.
But yeah, I think the inference I would make is that fish is really valuable.
Okay. Very good. So yeah, you see Soren, Fabia, and Wiccan just kind of exiting the warehouse ahead of you and heading off towards the boat.
This is the warehouse over here, right? This big building.
That's right. Yeah. So you're just kind of down here by the front.
Yeah.
The door that comes in this way.
Yeah. I mean, Errol's just gonna silently like follow the group. Okay. He's not gonna be saying much.
Yeah. I think Carthage is at this point pretty happy with that. So he's humming songs.
Okay. The guy Domenico follows a little more in silence. He's obviously trying to think for a way to get you to just hold on a minute and speak to him. And he notices where you're going, and he says, "Oh, you're not leaving so soon already, are you? You've only just arrived back in town."
Yeah, I know. And then I look at Soren with like a deadly stare.
We have important business to attend for our elven friend here.
Oh, Errol, Karthos. Thank goodness you made it. I wondered if you'd got lost.
No, we just wanted to
we found what we needed.
Robinson's work.
You hear the voice again. Oh, what incredible adventures are you setting sail off to? Surely I can have a like a glimpse of what you're about to undertake, and I could.
Listen, you'll hear all about it when we get back, and then, like, are we on the boat yet?
Just about, yeah. You're walking down the steps to kind of down to the.
I like hop onto the boat, and I kind of motion the others to hurry up.
And he like one last like he's accepted the fact that you are going, and he's saying, when can I expect your return? I mean,
and like as he's talking, like I just totally ignoring him. I was like, Wiccan, can we go?
Wiccan's like, Wiccan's like, yeah, kind of. He's like smirking a bit. He's finding it quite amusing. He says, "You sure you wouldn't like to stay for another drink? See what Thatch is up to today."
No, I'm quite good.
All right, okay. Well, let's head out then. Everyone in the boat. Try and sit in the middle. Don't rock the boat too bad, and we'll see how we go. And he unties the ropes. You see, kind of Domenico, like defeated. He kind of trudges back up the wooden pier, up onto the rocks there, and heads out to watch as you guys leave. Wiccan, with a skillful kind of pulls on the oar, brings you all out into the open sea, and you watch as Eagle's Rest fades into the background behind you. The boat kind of starts to take a meandering route through the algae, and the kind of rock kind of every so often, there's like rocks just below the surface of the water, and it's really difficult to see because of the algae. And Wiccan's expertly weaving in and out of these dangerous areas with a small craft laden with four folk, just not the 4 that he had expected to be taking. So I wonder if we could leave it there. Would be a nice point. Just as you guys leave Eagle's Rest once again, heading for Grey Point, and hopefully to secure passage on a ship southwards.
And I would like to say that Errol falls asleep pretty quickly. I don't know how like big this boat is or something. If he can't lay down, he's literally just gonna be like slumped over. Like
it's a definitely it's a slumped over job, and it's a like very like
keep being jolted
waters.
Awake and stuff.
Yeah, and every so often there'll be like a splash like of just seawater from the oars that'll just
it's like it's like one of those awful moments where you're like so tired, but you're like in the middle of something and you're just like dozing off, and then waking up is like half sleep basically. And his hair is just like all around him, kind of like covering his face as he just like kind of looks down, and then like you'll see him like look around and stuff, but he's actually not awake. And then he'll just go back to sleep again.
I think Soren's used to like a state of exhaustion, so he's just sort of sat there behind Wickham, just like keep casting guidance on him. Like I think Soren kind of knows he's no use to anybody because he's exhausted, so he's just gonna like keep casting guidance on Wickham just in case he needs any help.
Okay, it certainly helps to just keep his decision making sharp and that kind of thing. Yeah, for the journey. Okay. I think Fabia as well is just kind of enjoying the journey. I don't think she has been on this like journey before along the coast. In fact, she's maybe never even been on. Well, maybe you don't know. Let's say we don't know. And she's she's certainly enjoying it, looking out into the water, seeing what's down below, and the kind of the world that's down there. As you continue to weave along northwards.
I don't know what you're expecting to happen next, Craig, by the way, but this might be a good point for us to do some play-by-post.
Potentially, yeah.
It's up to, like, it depends what you're expecting to happen next.
I mean, I have ideas. I don't think it's. I don't want to put a barrier in terms of your journey south. It does make total sense that going by deep water is the quickest route. So I don't want to cut it off to you, but I do want to make it like more complicated than just there's another ship that just happens to be going south. So I wasn't quite sure how we would play that out, but I know that you guys are resourceful enough that you will make it happen one way or the other. So I am pretty set on the fact that you guys are going to be traveling south, and obviously that's a journey of a few days, I think. So there'll be some time to kill potentially on that journey. All assuming everything goes well with that. Yeah. But yeah, potentially a play-by-post. Certainly, we could start to look at if we could get to the point where we start the next session while you're on your way south on the ship. Maybe we could we maybe bridge that gap and play-by-post.
Yeah, probably.
How do you guys feel about that?
I'm up for it.
Yeah, well, for giving it a try.
It worked when we did it last time.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's just
Like
like
it was
the
quite a nice
aftermath
little
of,
like interlude, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that, and we can leave it on a nice nice moment to start the next live session. Cool. Okay. Very good. Let's do that.
Okay.
That was very fun again. Yeah.
That
Okay.
was